Welcome to Okage, Shadow King. For those unaware, this is a PlayStation 2 game that was put on the PlayStation Network for PlayStation 4 as of Tuesday, March 22nd. And this is an obscure classic JRPG that I was really looking forward to actually getting ported onto the PS4. So right here is our title card. You can see copyright 2001, the game is 15 years old. Right here, you have to name your hero. Since I don't actually own a PS4, I didn't want to leave anything weird. In case you're wondering, yes, I am playing this on a borrowed console. So Chapter 1, the boy meets the king. Now, the only voice acting in this is the narrator, who will be popping in from time to time. Right here we are seeing the hero's mother. There's his sister. And there's Ari, our hero. So in case you're wondering...
As you will see, this story starts with an ordinary conversation of an ordinary family, and with the inconspicuous boy who appeared behind his little sister. Unexpected as it may be, this unassuming boy is the hero of this peculiar tale we are about to see.
Since the narrator can't actually say the names of something we give, naming him hero or something along those lines would have been a lot more fitting, since that's what he says. Now, one of the things I have to explain is, most of the time you will be given 3 choices as to how to answer it, a question that's given to you. And while it may seem kind of meaningless or humorous, unfortunately your choices actually do already have an impact from right now. So, near the end of the game, throughout the game there's a system in effect. Basically, your choices will affect unseen stat values that will determine a compatibility event at the end of the game. Now, it's not quite at the end, but it's leading up to it. And depending on who you're the most compatible with, different things will happen. So right here, Annie is slacking off, and there she goes. But I'll explain more about the compatibility as we go. There are several different candidates: the princess, your father, the Okage of the title, the Shadow King Stan. There's the hero Rosalind. Basically, there are a lot of choices. And unfortunately, you can only do one compatibility event, and they all yield different things, such as ultimate weapons. In case you're wondering, yes, that does mean you can only get one true ultimate weapon for anyone in the party other than Ari. But oh well. So, the entire game, as you can see, has a very much Tim Burton-like feel, and that's what it's often compared to. The way the characters are drawn, with the super narrow bodies and various things being deformed and asymmetrical, it gives the game a very, very unique feeling. So right here is a locked door. If you check the keyhole, you'll see that it's a diamond-shaped key. I believe you actually get the key if you are most compatible with Ari's father. In case you're wondering, I'm going to aim for getting the highest compatibility with the princess here to get the ultimate armor for Ari. And real quick, I should mention, if you look at the trailer for this posted on PlayStation Network, I strongly, strongly recommend against it, because there are spoilers in that video, even though they don't reveal it. Namely, the last of the party members is revealed there in a party, so if you want to be surprised on who all joins you, I can't really stress it enough, do not watch that trailer. But anyway, this video will encompass the first chapter. I didn't really plan on talking through the entire thing, but there are a few things I need to point out here and there. Right now I'm just trying to show you Ari's house. There really isn't much to interact with, because this was one of the earliest PS2 titles. As such, features are a little minimal. The good news is there are side quests for you to undertake. I do my best to try to avoid those, with the exception of the compatibility stuff in this video. And the next video will actually worry about the tiny gears, the ciphertext, and so on. So, in case you're wondering, your sister gets around. So she's going out with more, so when you catch her later on, she's already moved on to her next date. But one of the things I want to point out is the graveyard. There are some funny headstones there, as well as one that's a little ominous. Man who drank, gambled, and died from poisonous fish, just as he planned. R.I.P. Nameless hero. Well, we think he had a name, but nobody asked him. And here's the ominous one. Person who touched the knowledge of the library. So that may seem like a little bit of a random thing, but the fact of the matter is the library is the final dungeon of the game, and it's not until you're actually there that that tombstone will actually make sense to you. So if you just want a little bit of a heads up, that's it. And in case you're wondering, that trailer that they have on PSN, that is the library, the final dungeon. So anyway, over the course of the video, I'm going to try to talk to different people because it's going to give me compatibility points with different people. Like I said, you only get one, and my goal is the princess instead of Stan or anyone else. Just gonna ask Julia out. In case you're wondering, we will be meeting Julia shortly. Tanel is to the north, Madrill is to the west. Here we are in Tanel. So we have the option of going to meet Ari's father, but there's no real point to, so I don't bother. That is Julia right there. I believe there actually is a compatibility event with her for some sort of accessory, but she's not really worthwhile. Don't worry, I'm used to being ignored. Stealthy, aren't I? Ari, I was daydreaming. Circus is coming tomorrow. So that's what the big tents are about. Aren't you going to ask me out? Sure. Beaten to it. In case you're wondering, the confession is going to come at the end of the video, and it's not going to be what you expect. Just a heads up. So, one little optional thing you can do is you can come here into the butcher shop and buy the ground beef. Water is in stock, which is a little bit of foreshadowing. If you'll pay out 20 sukul, that's the money of the game. You'll see we have 1,000 right now. We bought out the last of his stock. In case you're wondering, the reward to this entire thing is very minimal, so if you don't want to bother with it, don't worry. But anyway, you can go around and talk to people. I'm just going to go to the bakery and get it finished, you know. Water supply is stopping. Could be related to ghosts. We might be in trouble. Ghosts and Madrill. I think I talked to him about both options, just in case you're curious. Or not. So right here is the one we're looking for. And you'll notice that a lot of people ignore Ari. That is very important because one of the big themes of the game is titles. I'm not going to try to give a lot of details because of spoilers, obviously, but basically this game is very much about, how to put it, judging books for their covers, we'll say. Ari, being a meek guy, is overshadowed, hint hint, and it plays a big theme in the game as well as how you deal with the final boss. There they go, foreshadowing about the shadow.
Thus the boy, being teased by Annie, made his way home. And the next night...
So right now he's trying to study the bottle. I paused right there because I was thinking, shouldn't you be a little concerned if someone says that man is crazy about the bottle or something like that? It has a little bit of a different context than the whole archaeology aspect, you know? Don't worry, she has a date, and I think she's even with a different guy than Chad when we finally catch up to her, but if you remember, it was supposed to have been Morris. And the parents are oblivious. My way to move things forward, talk to your father, and he's going to ramble on no matter what you do. So as you can see, I am pretty adamant against listening to him. Gotta go to the circus. Shoelace weaver. Little garlic, 200 degrees for an hour. It's quantum physics.
And 2 hours later,
do you understand? The circus. So you can imagine the circus is over. So right here I'm trying to find his parents and grandparents, but they've already taken off, if I remember. They're somewhere around here, I don't really remember. But anyway, we can't really do anything with the doors upstairs because they're locked, so just head on out. But in case you're wondering, right now you could start the Tiny Gear side quest. Like I said, that will be addressed in the next video. You can't do the ciphertext until the end of this video, though. Anyway, over here is the circus. Oh-ho. Thanks for bringing that up, jerk. The so-called stone circle. I guess one nice thing about this game is that the text is so big, even when I'm doing post-game commentary, I can actually see it pretty clearly. And right here is what sets everything into motion. You can see she's with Jan now, or Jan, or something like that.
thus, on the night of the circus, this happy family fell on serious misfortune.
Serious being subjective. And you can see his grandmother, that's all she ever says. She's agreeing with the grandfather. That's it. What happened to me? Annie, pull yourself together. She's under the curse of Pig Latin. I can't believe it. Just in case you're really not familiar with it, I will be reading that to you. I asked... crud, I was attacked by a ghost. Brother, help me. I am talking all weird. Pig Latin curse. Good morning. No comment. She'll become a comic relief girl instead of a precocious pretty princess. I don't want to be a comic relief girl. Yep, the only thing left to do is make a deal with the devil. This all seems weird. No, thank you. Alright, said, well, I found something really amazing the other day. The bottle, if you remember. And here's where the titular character will be making his debut. A bottle that changes destinies. Pollock's bottle. In case you're wondering if I remember correctly, the name Pollock is related to the hero's ultimate weapon. I don't mean Ari, I mean the hero. You'll meet her in the next video. I doubt that. Because I believe it's Pollock's sword that she can get. Ari's ultimate weapon being the Sword of Gear. Anyway, right now we're in the basement. And right here I'm trying to show his dance, in case you're wondering. I'm waiting for him to stop moving before going forward. James. Stanley Hi-Hat Trinidad the 14th. Evil King. And in case you're wondering, you do not see Stan's body until the end of the game. That's why he's in a bottle right now. Oh, we don't need you. Slave, servant, and follower. Wonder who's unfortunate enough to get that job. In a pig's eye. Criteria that you can sell your soul to. I told you I won't. No comment. And at this point, you see you have to agree. But in the event you want to use the min-max character, then probably is good to get in good graces with your dad. As for me, I already know who I'm going to use, so I don't really need him or his cards. a shadow. So we need to bring in a pair of judges.
And suddenly, a peculiar contest has begun.
She's close, but she's... perfectly overshadowed.
Despite the blessings of his family, somehow the boy could not share their warm sentiments.
Behold, Stan. And 3 years ago, that is foreshadowing to who will meet in the next chapter, the hero, Rosalind. And watch the curse removal, this is another good part. Wake up. Look at her shadow. Annie, your shadow. Her shadow turned pink. Seems I made a slight miscalculation. So she thinks she'll become a pariah? Didn't say I wouldn't turn your shadow pink. It's not the first time he's done that either.
And so the commotion at the boy's house continued well into midnight.
So if you ever had any doubts about who Rosalind is, look for the other person with the pink shadow. The first person, Stan, did that too. And surprise, it was just a dream. Well, if it was just a dream, we could go out and have fun. Nothing wrong with that. Let's check on the old folks, make sure they're still kicking. Have fun. His father and Annie are gone. We will be seeing them. Jerks. Was a dream. I'm the same old ordinary boy. What a relief. That's what you're thinking, isn't it? Ha ha ha, too bad. Stan, you jerk. So we have to talk to James real quick. See, he has the ability to walk through walls. In case you're wondering, no, James is not a playable character. I'd say the most significant part for him is if you do Stan's compatibility event, James will give you a potion that will give you a permanent stat boost. Right here you can see how everyone is going to react to Stan. He believes himself to be an evil king, when in reality he's a laughingstock. So apparently we weren't looking, the whole bar on evil kings got lowered quite a bit. And that's all she has to say. In case you're wondering, yes, I'm going to go through here and talk to all the people as I make my way to the first battle of the game, the church basement. I can't even scare kids. Pretty weak, don't you think? Now that is the way forward. They won't let you go until you resolve the whole church situation. I'm not gonna lie, that field is pretty damn dangerous. We have a moment I can explain real quick, since this is one of the early PS2 JRPGs, it's not quite as forgiving as some of the others. And if you do some things wrong, the game is more than happy to just crack down on you. But in case you're wondering, there is a reason why I'm talking to all the people. I want you to notice how all the people do not take Stan seriously, they mock him and all that stuff. Because when we meet someone who does not react that way, that's foreshadowing that they are not who they appear to be. Basically, to the uninformed, Stan is just a novelty trick. But to the informed, they know exactly who he is. Now the inn is closed since there's no water, but it doesn't really matter because there's only one enemy for us to fight, so... I mean, it's pretty much sink or swim. Now, if you did buy his ground beef the previous day, you can sell it back to him. You paid 20, he'll buy it back for 30 just for the sake of not closing the shop, which is your pretty weird Tim Burton-esque logic at times. So in the end, we have 10 more Sukul than we started out with, which is basically one extra healing item. In case you're wondering, nuts are 10 Sukul to buy. see, Stan is in this for the treasure, and you don't actually find out what this treasure is until the actual end of the game. In case you're wondering, it's something with the ability to reconcile differences. That's all I'm gonna say. So no water means no bakery, no bar either. Now, in order to get into the church, this is the guy I talked to for both options. You have to talk to Ari's father in the town hall. They don't really tell you if he's supposed to be the mayor or just like a clerk or something, I guess. But the other reason why I'm sticking around here is to point out something kind of important coming up. Otherwise, I would just skip to the boss fight. So right here is the item shop. You can buy the nuts here. You can see they give you 50 HP, which is pretty much a full heal at this point of the game. So I went ahead and decided to pick up 3. Status effects disappear at the end of battle, but for certain fights, you probably do want to have some poison-curing items. Guidance Jewel is basically a way to teleport out of dungeons, and I was thinking about buying one, but ultimately you can see I didn't. So I don't really know why she's asking about the butcher shop. We did the little side quest thing that gave us our 10 supal, so that's all we can do. And make sure you talk to her on the way out of the church because it's just a funny line. In case you're wondering, I will do it. Basically, you learn she's an incorrigible snoop. Dumped him. She likes someone else. Who could that damn lucky guy be? Like I said, you will find out at the end of the video. Not what you're expecting, though. So we can see here that Annie is even more popular with her pink shadow than she was in the first place. Now, I didn't mean to talk to her there, but the hitbox on trying to talk to people is pretty big in this game. You'll see when I talk to one of the clerks in the town hall 3 times, I only wanted to talk to her twice. We have to consider moving because we can't clean house. Awesome, huh? Now, I haven't recorded the video yet, but I believe this is the guy you talk to start the ciphertext quest in Chapter 2. So he'll give you a little bit of backstory, but it's been so long since I played this game, I don't even remember what the reward from that ciphertext thing is. It's probably like an accessory or something. So as you can see, Ari's reputation is transitioning from being someone who was largely ignored to kind of a comedian. Now, that's another side quest right there, if I remember correctly. It's the message in a bottle. When you get to one of the later towns, you'll be able to find the message, and then you have to find out where it originated, and ultimately it'll lead you to that door. Yeah, that doorway. Basically, it's a sick person who put a message in a bottle and sent it away looking for a friend. Let's try to interact with that thing on the road, but you can't. Here's the church. I go ahead and examine the sign. Locked. So that's how we turn the water back on. one more job. Managing the classification list. So she talks a little bit about this here, but this is the crux of the game. This is everything. They talk a little bit about it right now, but as we learn more and more, you'll see just how important this list is. Ultimately, we'll learn where it comes from and all the trouble that it's causing. And no one seems to know what Ari's classification is, except for the guy doing the classifying. Hint, hint. Right here is when I was trying to talk to his dad, and I ended up talking to her instead. You can see that Ari's dad doesn't really like the little thing, but we have to deal with it. Those are the breaks. You know how it works. No comment. So I'm not sure if it's a different way that James appears every time, but every time he's appeared in this video, it's been a different way. Just a little piece of trivia, I guess. Something we can watch for as we go through the game. So this is the way to the basement. I wasn't sure if there was anything in the church for us to interact with, so I wanted to come by and sweep it. So you can see the place is empty. Nothing. So I decided to just bite the bullet and get this over with. Water stops, valve, water flows, and here's our fight. As soon as you walk through the store, that's it. You don't have any time to prepare, but it's not like there's anything to prepare since we don't have any equipment or anything yet. So this is our first fight of the game. The enemies we encounter will look like ghosts like the one we're encountering, but when they're actually in the battle window, they will appear as they truly are. The whole ghost thing is just something for convenience on the world map. In case you're wondering, yes, you do get to see the enemies, and you have a chance to kind of evade them, but the thing is, they increase in frequency until they finally get you, so it's not like you can dodge indefinitely. So we have two moves, Decoy pulls all aggro, and then Overdrive. I didn't use Overdrive here because, since this is the first fight, it's a little risky. Basically what happens if you use it, your next attack, I believe, becomes AoE, and it hits a little bit harder. So if you're willing to use that, you might be able to kill everything in one round. But the catch is, if you miss something, you are in a pretty dicey spot. Now, as for the things that have dropped, the bag is just pure super money. The chest is an item. So the one guy dropped a nut, the other one dropped some money for us, and basically you can get it, like when you're trying to farm certain items, you can sometimes know if you got it based on whether or not there was a chest here. This will come into play for one of the bosses. Right there you can see that the game uses an ATB-like system. I'll try to explain it more in future videos because there is a little bit of depth to the battle system, namely Stan being able to jump in at times. But anyway, as for EXP, the way it works is once you hit 1,000 you level up. The enemies give you progressively less EXP as your level goes up, so you can't really grind too much. Sometimes they will give you your stats, sometimes they won't. I mean, you'd still get them, it's just sometimes they don't tell you what you got. But anyway, there's the treasure that Stan wants. Ari has acquired Odd Glass Tube. Anyway, the other thing we came for, I tried to close it even tighter than before, but unfortunately, your only option really is to open it. So you can see right there, our first achievement is popped. Our first trophy, I forgot this is the PlayStation game, sorry. So, water is back. We are now regarded as heroes despite being servants of the evil king. How fickle is fate. If you notice Julia is right there. Poor Stan. No respect, man. He has it worse than Rodney Dangerfield did. Damn. They're speechless. I tell you, man, no respect. Someone needs to get Ari a red tie, or at least Stan.
Thus, Tanel Village was filled with joy and laughter.
Sorry, Stan, but you're not hopeless. And one important thing to note is Stan does not behave rationally. So while you try to comfort him there, that actually makes him angry. And when you're trying to get him to help you in battle, he sometimes is similar. Stan is just so freaking unpredictable that even 15 years after this game has come out, people still barely understand him. What can you do with your shadow? Can you spy inside a room by sliding underneath the door? I'm kind of busy. You could hear everything. Hey, you want to hang out with me? Remember, that's the town gossip there. There's just no hope with her. So I came in here to try to get the map, but we can't get it quite yet. We will get it at the end of the video, though. In case you're wondering, I will hit up a couple other places. I think I try to go into all the places that were closed just to show how much they've changed. It's not really like you can buy anything from the bakery. Your healing items right now are confined to nuts. You can't even buy a real weapon or armor either, unfortunately. But you do get a fruit knife from the Tinkerer, so make sure you head on in there. Right here I was wondering if there was something else that went with the meat, but no, there's not. Here we can see the inn. This is where you can save and rest. You know, the usual drill for RPGs, I hope. You only get guests once every 2 or 3 years. And I'm gonna go ahead and drop a save here. Now, right here is one of the important NPCs. This is the mysterious, or the fortune teller, or the mysterious woman, I think she's sometimes called. I'm not really sure. But the fortune teller will tell you who you have the highest compatibility with at that point in the game. There's no consequence as far as I know to talking to her, so if you're ever curious, come on and check. Right now we have the compatibility with Evil King Stan. They tell you to change from time to time based on decisions you make, stuff like that. Like, since we haven't met Marlene or Rosalind, we can't have any compatibility with them, I think. But we could have some with Julia, Ari's father, there's an old woman that you can have compatibility with. case you're wondering, to get some of these compatibility gifts, you have to do some really obscure stuff. But here's the Tinker, where you get the fruit knife. And based on that type of text, you think, hey, Ari's going to get a pretty strong, potentially ultimate weapon from here, but no, this is not where you find the Sword of Gear. And once you know the story, you'll realize Gear Man is a bit of a jerk. So right here I was trying to remember what the fruit knife is for, and to be completely honest, even right now as of doing this voiceover, I still don't really remember. But if you didn't look in the status screen, Ari only has a luck stat of 1, because he is unlucky, get it? Possessed by the evil king and all that. Kings have appeared all around the world. The map of evil kings. And there we go, we have one of our most important key items. An evil king has appeared in Madril. So we're going to have to go investigate that in the next video. And we'll be getting some help from the hero, Rosalind, who has some history with Stan, as I've hinted at already. There are more evil kings than myself? And his name isn't even on the list. So, part of the reason why they're not giving you a number is that more will appear as we go out. So, in case you're wondering, yes, they actually do have some of Stan's power. You get new abilities for beating the evil kings. Chance for romance. That's what you're thinking? No, it's not like that. Okay, so he did use that means of transportation once before. But anyway, here comes Julia's confession, so you'll get to see what kind of person she is. Julia, I liked you. Why the past tense? You're serious, honest, and quiet. And then becomes a husband who'd eat cold mashed potatoes without complaining. Let me go on rampant impulse shopping sprees without complaining. That's what I liked. She can't be with the person who does tricks with a shadow.
Our hero simply stood there dumbstruck.
Yeah.
And the next morning...
So, pretty devastating there when you learn Julia was only interested in Ari because he's a doormat. But anyway, that is the end of the first chapter. So when we pick up next time, we'll be starting the second chapter, going into the sewers, because I think the second one is the Sewer King, but I'm not sure. But yeah, we'll get our first party member, Rosalind. And we'll start doing side quest stuff such as ciphertext and tiny gear. But until then, I'm the Hero of Light. Thanks for watching.